you ever invested the time to give each department, each employee, their very own key performance indicator, also known as a KPI? But then later, you discover that the KPI did not work the way that you planned. The sales team met their sales goal, but the profit is lower than you expected. Your marketing team generated a whole lot more leads than they normally do, but the number of customer complaints also was higher than normal. So what's going on? KPIs are supposed to be the magic solution to growing a healthy company. Well, stay tuned because I'll share what the problem is. It's very common because KPIs are naturally flawed if they're not implemented correctly. I will share tips and tricks to help you make KPIs much more successful in your business. KPIs are often picked from a list of industry benchmarks like you're ordering from a menu. And so in marketing, I like this one. Sales, I'll take this one. In operations, yep, we've got to get a handle on this one. It reminds me of when I owned an air conditioning company. I saved all of the industry benchmarks that I could find. And one day I had the great idea of taking all of the benchmarks I had collected over the years to create the perfect financial statement and scorecard for my company. Yes, I know it sounds like a very nerdy thing for me to do, but I loved every minute of it. So I'll save you the time. The activity did not work because the reports looked like Frankenstein created them. The KPIs did not naturally work together to accomplish the goals that I had for the company. I've found KPIs often do not work because there is a disconnect at either the company level, the team level across all of the departments, or at the individual level. For KPIs to be successful, they must connect at the company level. You got to take a step back and look at the big picture. Is it likely that the KPIs will work together and generate the results that you want? And is the plan realistic based on your historical data? And so when you look at what it takes to go from marketing to sales to actually delivering the service, when you reverse engineer the numbers based on your sales goal, is it realistic to expect your marketing team to generate 32 leads if the last time period they only generated 15? What's the plan for helping them accomplish that new goal of 32? You also need to consider, do you have the resources to accomplish the plan? Consider how much money you'll need to spend to generate the leads. Also consider whether you'll have enough employees to deliver the service without sacrificing quality or burnout. Another reason why KPIs don't work is the goals are presented to each department separately, which creates a disconnect at the team level. So you might have a KPI for your marketing team, and so you meet with them to tell them how many leads that they need to generate. And then separately, you pop into the weekly sales meeting to tell the sales department what their goal is for the month. And then during the technical training for your operations department, you help them better understand how to reduce the costly mistakes that are being made. And then the administrative, the office, they're so busy, they just know what to do. And so you're left with your departments being very disconnected. No one knows what the other one's doing. And so they're just doing whatever they can to make it happen. And this type of communication and planning creates a disconnect across all of the departments. But when in reality, each department's success is connected and dependent on the other department. And to ensure the team wins, you need systems, training, and KPIs that connect the team across all of the departments. KPIs are more likely to be successful at the team level when each department knows how they affect the company. So at the team level, you'll need to provide training that teaches the basic functions of each department and how the departments work together. It's also good to explain why each step of the process is important. For example, it's good to remind employees to ask for customer reviews, but take the extra step to explain why. Your employees do not know how powerful and impactful a 5-star review has on the company. It confirms that you deliver great service. It also lowers marketing costs. It provides inspiration for the messaging that's used in your marketing, and the sales team can use the reviews as testimonials in the presentation to help close more projects. One of my favorite 5-star reviews was when our service was compared to Chick-fil-A. I mean, that 5-star review is a gift that keeps on giving. Even though I've sold that company, I'm still using it here in this presentation. You also need to implement systems that push information from one department to another. The magic happens when you reduce the friction between each step of the process. And so that way your employees will be able to focus their time and energy on things that naturally move the needle instead of chasing down paperwork and answering the same questions over and over again. The third reason KPIs don't work is employees rarely understand how their actions and decisions impact the company. This creates a disconnect at the employee level. Employees have a very limited view of how the business actually works. So at the employee level, consider communicating your expectations. For an example, when you communicate the marketing budget to the marketing team, instead of simply stating the dollar amount, provide more details of what you expect for the money. Do you want the money to be spent generating only new leads? Or do you expect 25% of the leads to come from existing customers so that way you can reduce marketing cost? Also, make sure that you're speaking the same language. Your definition of a good quality lead may be different than your team. Your marketing department may consider a good quality lead to be anyone that calls to request more information. Sales team may consider it to be anyone that says yes. Operations may consider it to be anyone, well, maybe more specifically, the older ladies that provide water and snacks while they're having a very long day, especially during busy season. Your office may even consider a good lead to be everyone that pays on time. So make sure everyone speaks the same language, and that will help ensure that your KPIs are successful. Also, don't forget to show the formula. Employees need to know how the KPI is calculated. For example, with the sales closing rate, show the formula. You are going to calculate it based on the number of sales, the number of times people said yes, divided by the number of opportunities. And don't forget to define the terms within that formula. What do you consider to be a real opportunity? Also, share historical information with the employees. This will help employees see how they can make minor tweaks to accomplish their goals. If the goal is to increase the sales closing rate, instead of reminding your sales team to follow up with prospects, share historical data that can help them see the benefit of completing all the steps in the system. For example, if you discover that 18% of the sales happen after the third follow-up, share this stat with your team. This is proof that following up with the prospects pays off. Follow-up is an important step in the sales process. Here are a few tips to make your KPIs more successful. First, confirm that the KPIs are balanced. And so we've considered the KPIs from a company, team, and employee standpoint, but really take a step back and make sure that you're protecting the culture of the company. You want to make sure that the KPI is not really good for one department, but then is detrimental to another one. What can you do to rework that KPI so that way your culture is protected? Also, you want to make sure that the KPI ensures that you provide a great customer experience and that the company never runs out of cash. And if you create the KPIs in a very balanced way, you will naturally help your business grow. Another way to make successful KPIs is to be very patient. It does take time to set up the ecosystem needed to use KPIs to see results, but stick with it. The results will be amazing. Also, document the process. This will make it easier to train new employees and provide follow-up training for your team. Don't forget to celebrate wins as a team. As the team starts to see progress and you start to see the needle move, it's super important to pause, take a little bit of time in your next company meeting, and celebrate the wins. When an employee does not meet their goals, provide mentoring in a private setting. It can be very deflating when we do not accomplish our goals, but this is a great teaching opportunity. You can teach your team that you're either winning or learning. Help your employee reflect on what worked and what did not. What can they do next time to be more successful and accomplish their goals? The bottom line is business is a team sport. And so it's super important that everyone gets on the same page and really focuses in on the same things. KPIs are a great tool for improving performance, making better decisions, and measuring success. The key is making sure everyone on your team speaks the same language and is working toward the same goal. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you got a business question, please reach out. I'm happy to point you in the right direction.